Frisco PD's in for a treat. They don't really know me. Might be long-winded. For those who don't know me, I am Taiga's dad, David Spangler. I had the privilege of having a lot of fun with a young man. And we'll take an opportunity, hopefully, as I put a Facebook post last night, this is, it's not the last celebration of Taiga. This is just the last formal one. Put a couple of words out there. I don't think I'll be as good as Chief. Thank you for those remarks. And, you're kind and awesome remarks. And definitely tells a little bit about my son, being out there. You and your department have been phenomenal. And I've said nothing that from things that I wouldn't have thought would have been out there, from coming to the hospital. The chief and I have missed each other about 5 minutes for the last 2 or 3 months. So just always going a little different paths. So again, nothing but thanks and gratitude for what you provided for my son, an opportunity to pursue his goal and to go out there and to work with, to be a public servant. And that's something I believe everybody should be. So thank you for that, Chief. I'll be stopping by HR on Monday to submit my transfer. So, hopefully you have a job that requires some experience watching raccoons in the parks and taking bobcat calls. So I'm pretty good at that, being from Denton. But seriously, I cannot thank you and your department for all you've done for Taiga. Chief and his officers never once shied away from doing anything that I'd asked. And, from everything from Taiga was he went to be a jailer. He was only 20 when he got his bachelor's degree. So, obviously we got to be 21 as I do recruiting. It's a recruiting event. All the game works tie in right now, stats. So, is 21, he's 20, can't be it. I said, hey, son, go over there and apply to be a dispatcher or a jailer, a detention officer somewhere. You get some experience. You will learn to deal with people. You learn something that's good because you don't have a badge and a gun. You have this and these. And he did, and he made good opportunity of that. So I'm glad to know my son worked for such an awesome department and one that is an outstanding model for other agencies to emulate. So I hear nothing but good things from the Frisco PD around here. There's no greater responsibility of an organization than the duty of care of those who work for them. Thank you, Chief, for your department. I'd also like to thank the church for providing this place of worship to honor and celebrate the wonderful life that Taiga lived. For all those that know him, we know that he would have wanted something a little smaller, not such a big venue. And he even tried to cancel this once already. We had that little thing back 24 January called Ice-Mageddon Storm. So I'm pretty sure that was a little doing his. He was talking to the big man up there and put a little delay in this. I really appreciate all the chaos that he's caused us in reorganizing the celebration for him. So, it made my life fun, along with everybody else's. We've got people traveling from across the United States. But I'm sure in typical Taiga humor, if anybody that knows him, he's sitting up there looking down at us with his legs crossed and a little cross-eyed, side-eye looking at you. So that'd be how he would get it in his little smirk. Also, I'd like to thank the Frisco Police Officers Association. From the very beginning of Taiga's diagnosis, they have been there for him, making sure he continued to smile and stayed positive. Albeit a Steam game deck, if you don't know what that is, if you're not a gamer, but they bought him a nice game pack to keep him occupied because he wasn't able to sit up behind the computer all the time. So I'm sure that helped out a lot. I don't think he liked the fake hair and redneck ball cap as much as I did, but I thought it looked good on him. So, Chief, we sported your haircut there for a while, so, that was a good time. So looking back on it, thank you for taking care of us and Taiga on the association. Also, I want to give a shout out to his nurses and the doctors at Medical City, Dallas. From the very beginning, they brought us in and they treated us like family. I stopped by and saw them just here a couple days ago. Not how we would have liked to meet, but we made the most of it. Just like Chief said with Taiga, that's how he did it. I see a couple of those faces out here. Got you, ladies. So, Taiga really enjoyed y'all's company and being his devious self from threatening to jump scare the nurses to refusing hugs from Dr. Goldman. So, and I think, matter of fact, our first stay in, they brought in, one of the nurse came in, she says, hey, we've got a new nurse, and she's giving IVs, but never to a patient. And I says, do you mind if we use you? He says, oh, yeah, that's good. So, yeah, we can do that. And he looked back up at her, he said, you want me to yell when she sticks me? No, don't do that. So, but if you know Taiga, that's how he was. So, I'd also like to thank all the friends for their support, from online gaming friends. And I've been on his Discord. Again, if you don't know that piece, I had to learn some things. And we've talked to folks from Chile to Australia to across the U.S. and let them know some stuff. So to fellow jailers and police officers, administrative folks with Frisco PD, my fellow game wardens. So thank y'all. And of course, all of our other friends and family. Some of y'all haven't seen in years, and we've stayed in contact. So I appreciate you being here. Without a strong foundation, the building falls over. Y'all have ensured our family stayed strong during these times. And I'll rest assured, it was not an easy one. It probably will still have some rough patches, but that's okay. So I thank you all for the support you have given us in the past, the support you're giving today, and the support that I know you will give us in the future. For many that know him and others to read as outlined in his life story, Taiga was guided in life by lessons learned as a Boy Scout. Taiga's mother got him into Cub Scouts when we lived in Virginia, where he started a lifelong devotion to something he loved. He moved from Cub Scouts to Boy Scouts in Okinawa and earned his Eagle Scout with Troop 102. So a shout out to his Scoutmaster, Marty Roberts, who had a phenomenal program and also has a friend of Taiga and Jeremiah, his son, who they grew together and got Eagles together. Taiga continued to serve as an elder statesman in his Texas troop, Troop 285, after leaving Okinawa. He then moved on to Police Explorers. Some may not know it, but that's actually kind of an offshoot of scouting as well. And he was with the Denton PD. Another segment of Scouts that allows youth to learn about a potential career in law enforcement. Ironically enough, I didn't know this. I was looking some history when I was preparing these notes, and Explorers was founded in July of 1973. So the 1973 would be significance of myself, and that's when I was born, also in July. But Taiga's also a July birthday. So a little overlap. I thought that was kind of ironic that an organization that he spent some time with was founded in his birth month. Needless to say, Taiga has a solid foundation in scouting, and it shaped who he is. One of the guiding principles of Boy Scouts is the Scout Law, which has 12 points. A Scout tries to live up to the law every day. It's not always easy to do, but a Scout should always do their best, as we put in their oath. On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty. We looked at oath and the Scout Law. A Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. You heard the chief say some of these words, and I think Taiga embodied this. I know we get up here and want to, talk about good things of, obviously my son, a brother, a friend, but he really did live up to those things, and that was his goal every day. Taiga is a trustworthy son, a brother, and a friend. He is honest and always kept his promises. If you found yourself in a bind, you could depend on Taiga to help you out. If you need him to watch your house while you were on vacation, he was your man. At a young age, our neighbors, Christy and Dieter, gave him the keys to their house when he left. And I told him, I said, son, this is no small task. Somebody has given you the keys to their kingdom. That's trust, and that you've earned that, and he took care of it. Taiga is loyal, mostly to gaming, but also to his family and friends. He continued his loyalty to Boy Scouts, serving as an adult leader in Troop 285 when we moved here. A lot of people, when they get their Eagle Scout, they move along. He didn't. He still gave back to an organization that gave to him. He did the same in Police Explorers. To Denton Police Explorers. He's got a friend over here, so he met, and Miss King, I want to give her a shout out. He thoroughly enjoyed his time with Miss King and the fellow explorers, even making a lifelong friend with his fellow jailer, Jacob Tutt, who's now a Frisco PD officer. And Miss King gave him an extension because Braswell High School has a law enforcement program he signed up for. And try to teach your kids to do the right thing, and sometimes they don't, so he filled that application out in pencil initially. And all of us in the uniform here know we like blue and black dark ink sticks, and he got it corrected. So luckily, she gave him another opportunity. He got in that limited program. He got to work with her. He got to meet a good friend. Thank you for being out there for him, Tut. I've heard a lot of great stories. I can't share them in here. Taiga is helpful. He truly cared about people. He was too young to be a police officer. He graduated with his bachelor's degree at 20. So I recommend him get a job as a jailer so he could learn some people skills and also see who he would be dealing with if, in fact, he did pursue a career in law enforcement. Tried to recruit him as a game warden. I guess we wore him out in Denton County, so he passed off on that one. So here he learned to help not only the officers with their troubled clients, because as you know, all of us in here that take people to jail, we leave them in such good company over there and make the jailers happy. But he also helped those same clients to make it through their ordeal. He was not there to judge, only to be helpful. He's told me many stories at night when he'd come in, or I guess really morning time. He worked the 6 to 6 shift, and he much like me. So is my former partner, Jimbo's out there. I'm a hoot owl, and so was Taiga. And he would tell stories, and maybe somebody came in to have a little too much adult dessert, might have been a little bit abusive to their spouse, and when they would be a little bit more coherent in the morning, he's like, hey, you might want to call and apologize to your wife. So you weren't the best in your position. So, he was there not to judge, but to be helpful. Taiga is definitely a friendly person. I don't know where he gets that from because I'm pretty much an introvert. But Taiga was not one to judge and accepted all for those who they were. His worldly travels led him to be a friendly and open-minded person. Whether it be stopping by to help a traveler in need or just saying hi to a passing stranger interjecting into his high school photo shoot. As his mother was taking some high school photos, I think it was one of our local residents of Denton County that didn't have a home that decided he wanted to take part in those pictures. Might be in some slideshow if y'all seen them. Taiga is courteous. He was polite to all. His upbringing instilled in him to have and display good manners. He was respectful to his elders and displayed an easygoing mannerism that allowed others to get along when they were around him. He always used good manners, except when he gamed. There was definitely some interesting choice of words emanating from his closed-door room. I always told him, I said, try not to use those words because then they become second nature, especially if you're going to be a police officer. Taiga's kind. He went out of his way to be kind to others. He could at times be a little bit stubborn. Probably one of my traits too, so I'll fault that one. But he was more likely to treat you the way he wanted to be treated, with respect and dignity. Taiga's obedient. He followed the rules and he did as he was asked. Like Chief said, matter of fact, he used to show up so much early and stay late. They're like, hey, we ain't paying you no overtime. You need to clock in at a good 5 minutes, not 30 minutes before. The job will still be there, as I told him. It never ends in this case. If I needed something done, maybe other than mowing the lawn, he was on it. Taiga got the job accomplished. He dutifully followed the rules of the house, his work, and society. And again, he was still at my house as an adult. I told him, I said, it's pretty simple. You're a grown man. You're going to be a productive member of society. He got his degree. Then he went on and got a job because, I said, that's for the next spot. And he was a public servant and, not only followed my rules, but followed the rules of the police department and society. If he disagreed with something, he would inquire why. I think he learned of that as y'all promoted him to senior detention officer back in January 24, and he started to learn a little bit about why you don't want to put on leadership roles. Some people are painful. But he either sought to gain an understanding or seek to change it for the better. Why do we do this in the jail? How can we make it better? So, and I'll take his word for it, but he said he was getting out there. I'm sure Tut's got some stories on that, and probably the chief too. Taiga's cheerful. With his boisterous laugh and big smile, he was a joyful young man. You should see the screenshots of him playing games. Mouth wide open, tongue to one side, and yelling and being joyful. Not sure where he got his loud, boisterous style from, probably his mother. He sought to bring others up to his level of happiness and make everyone feel a little bit more cheerful. I like to call it the positive mental attitude. I've wanted to pass it along to my boys. I think that goes a long way. I tell people, hey, 95% of the time, David Spangler is going to be up and running. I want to jump from mountain peak to mountain peak. But sometimes we trip and fall down the valleys, and that's what Taiga did kind of in his treatments and stuff. But he stayed positive, even amongst everything that went on. And he was definitely not a woe is me. Taiga is definitely thrifty. He saved money and was ready to move on with his life as a man out on his own. And he was getting ready to make that next step. He did not wear expensive clothes or drive gaudy vehicles. So, matter of fact, he drove my old truck from Japan. He did wreck it, so I held that against him a little bit because he claimed he was 6 car lengths away, but I said, I don't think you were that far. But he didn't mind having a used vehicle. He didn't need those things out there. He did his best to save for the future and conserve resources. He even left behind money to allow his family to be better off than they were. He was a frugal and prudent person with his time and money. And just to give you an example, when I was cleaning his room up, there's a little cup there, and it's got some Japanese money in it from their trip, which I kind of understood. I think it was about $500 there. And then by the time I tallied up all the American money, there was $1,100 in cash there. So it's probably because he was using my credit card all the time, I think. But his brother ratted him out on that one. He had his own. So. Taiga's brave. You get that up, Chief. And, during his whole cancer treatment, he never complained or was a woe is me person. So he was the bravest in the family at taking cancer head on. From early days, I'm sure he knew the outcome. He's a smart young man, and he and I both looked at that. And, I've had a lot of people talk to me. Our medical folks back there definitely know this. Ewing sarcoma is not a good cancer. And most that have it where he had it don't live as long as Taiga did. So from the early days, he did not deter from being brave. He lived with cancer as he lived his life. Brave and maybe afraid, as Chief said, because bravery doesn't get away from fear. But courageous in his actions and was the oak tree that the rest of us could lean on. So all the way up until his last days, and he made some grown man decisions. He was a grown man at 24, but boy, that's not one I'd want to have to make. And we talked some things, and he was always in his charge, his steed, his time, and what Taiga wanted. And I don't want to go down this path too much because I definitely get a little teary-eyed. But for those that know and see how he handled it, he did a phenomenal job of being brave during his treatment. Taiga is clean? Well, maybe. He definitely could have cleaned his room better and washed his clothes more, but he definitely lived his life clean. He hated even taking prescription medications, feeling they were bad for his body. So he didn't like to take the medicine. He didn't really like sodas. I guess he thought he was going to get fat, so he was pretty skinny most of his life. But don't cut off his Dutch bros because he seemed to like the Dutch bros, and now I've had some of those with him. He kept his mind and his body fit. That fitness allowed him to live so long with his cancer. That's why I think, you look at some stats, not to put it out there, a year when you're lucky. He went 18 months. So that was at least after he was diagnosed, don't know when he had it. So that was in July at a police physical. He took a chest x-ray. So strong young man, he kept himself fit and gave up a good fight for us all to be around and spend some time with him and get to know his other family and friends. Taiga is reverent. Taiga may not have been a once-a-week church attendee, but he was faithful and believed in a higher power. He also respected the beliefs of others, as his own life background opened him up to many views. Taiga's faith carries on today in all of us. That's what it's said, and I've heard some things from my uncle here. I've been at my mother's funeral, some aunts and uncles I've been close to, and they live on. They live on in your heart. You have it every day. I'll remember those things. And hey, I shed a little tear sometimes when I watch a movie or, hear a saying or look at a picture. But I had a good 24 years. Wasn't there all the time with him. Even spending 18 months when we were in the hospital. We liked the company, just not the hotel. And he's going to leave us with that. And that's what faith does for you. And he had faith. And like I said, I know he's looking down on us right now. And just stay strong. Taiga may have only been here for a short while, but he lived a great and adventurous life. He got to do a lot during his time traveling around the United States and even the world. He met and made many friends around the world too, both in person and online, as I'd said. He grew, he learned, he played, and he loved. I'm sure he's looking down on us now, side-eyeing me with his legs crossed and giving me that smug grin, thinking out loud, really, Dad? Take care, buddy. I look forward to our next gym session together. And with Taiga, you can stand at ease. You can stand down from the watch. Your fellow brothers in blue have the watch. Rest easy, look over us, and protect us as we protected you. I believe. Still gonna talk, young man? Come on up. So Jacob Tut's gonna be followed here, and he's gonna express some good words. So thank y'all for y'all's time.
Thank you, David. At this point, Officer Tutt has a few words he'd love to share about Taiga, and thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I didn't prepare a very long speech. I just wanted to talk about a few times that I had with Taiga that were pretty special to me. Taiga, as everybody knows, he was a very caring person. There were several times where I showed up to work and didn't really want to be there. I said, Taiga, I'm not doing anything today. Shilson, please cover your ears. I sat back and said, I'm going to play on TikTok, and that's going to be my day. And he said, brother, that ain't going to happen. Because you remember last week when you told me you wanted spaghetti? I made a whole pot just for you. I said, why would you do that? I said, because I care, and I want you to eat. I said, man, you're too much. He didn't just do that once. He did that many, many times, where he made desserts for everybody. He made food for everyone, dinners, lunches, you name it. He would do it just because he cared. He wanted to do something for somebody. Every time I showed up, he made me glad I showed up to work. I'd show up beat down, tired, didn't want to be there. The night before sucked, whatever. I'd show up and he'd have a big old smile on his face. 30 minutes early for no reason at all. He'd go, you ready to work today, bud? No, I'm not. Well, we're going to. I know, Taiga. And he'd sit there and crack all his jokes, do his little side eyes, his funny smiles, and it would make every day worth it. I actually met Taiga back in high school. Like I said, David said, he was in an Explorers program. I met him and hadn't seen him in some time, and I said, man, every now and then I think about him and go, I wonder where that guy is. He was something special. Well, and then I walked into work one day, and they go, hey, your friend's here. And that could mean a lot of things working in the jail. And I walk around the corner, and Taiga Spangler's looking at me like this. And I go, Spangler? And he goes, hey, man. And I go, what are you doing here? He's like, well, I got a job here. I said, things just got really interesting because this guy is a character. Of course, y'all all know that. Taiga meant a lot to a lot of people. Like I said, he was very kind, not only to people he worked with, but people who came in the jail. As many of us know, we don't see these people for very long. We see them on most of the time their worst day. And he gave them the benefit of the doubt every single time. No matter what they had done, what they were saying, the way they were acting with us, he treated them with kindness, respect, and treated them as a human, which sometimes can go a long way for some people. He always had my back. He always had everybody's back. There were several times where I yelled at him. I said, Taiga, you're being dumb. Stop doing what you're doing. And he would look at me and go, well, I'm sorry, man. I'm just going to do this. And I had to let him do it, and it was all the better. He did a lot of good stuff, wouldn't let anybody work. I mean, if I was like, hey, I'm going to go do the laundry real quick, he would push me out of the way and go do it. And I go, why? He goes, well, I wanted to do it. You look busy, so I wanted to do it. My busy was sitting there on my phone. There's a lot of stories that I could tell about Taiga. You can meet me after, and I'll tell them to you. I don't want to stand up here for too long. I might get a little emotional. I'm not quite over this just yet. But I want to thank y'all all for being here. I know it would mean a lot to him. Thank you guys for showing up and caring so much about Taiga. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. At this point, we have a few moments. If a couple of family members or friends would have memories you'd like to share, the opportunity is yours.
I'm Tiger's granddad. A lot of you know me, and I'm pleased, very proud of everybody that's here today. I've lost a real, well, I didn't intend for this to happen, but I've lost a real good grandson. This is not going to be around for long. I've got another one sitting here that I'm very proud of, too. And if y'all would only known him and been around him, you know how good a guy he was. I seen you talk here, sir, and listen to you talk about how good he was. You know, he was a great person. I've been with him since I got to go to Okinawa. I got to carry him all over Okinawa because somehow or another, his leg got broke. We don't know right now how his leg got broke, but it was only me and him. But I did get to carry him all over Okinawa as a young baby. He's come back. He has come to me. He worked with me. And a young man that has grown up and had everything he could. His dad done everything in the world for him. But I'm so proud to have been his granddad. I'm proud of all of y'all that are here today to see him and represent him. I thank all of you for being here. God bless all of you.
Thank you, sir. Again, thank you for being here today. I would like to close our time in prayer. And following the ceremony, there's going to be refreshments. And I had one job and I dropped the ball, and I'm not sure where that location is going to be. Is anyone in here that? No. Sorry? Okay. Right over here. Okay. Yes. Well, Father, we pray that you are honored today by a life that you created, and again, a life that you knew every breath that he would take and the lives he would influence, and the unique way you created him in your image. We're grateful for that. Again, we don't understand, but we look to you and trust the fact that you have demonstrated you can be trusted. And thank you for these friends, this family. Would the family be encouraged and uplifted as they continue to walk through the days ahead? We just entrust them to you. In the name of Jesus, amen. Thank you. The family is welcome to go ahead and be dismissed, or if you would like to just wait here, and then the refreshments and stuff will be taking place here in a little bit. So thank you. Thank you for coming.